The murderer of the Golden Riders. On the killing of the hero. A young man in a small village at the foot of a mountain began to dream one summer of a rider crossing the pass. The rider was made of gold. His chariot was built of bones. The bones had been polished, and they fit together in the chariot as bones fit together in a skeleton, knee and shoulder, jaw and rib. The small white discs of vertebrae aligned along the chariot's spine. The horses were white. Their breath was steam in the cold mountain air. The villagers in his dream came out of their houses as the rider passed, and they cheered. They cheered with a particular joy. It was the joy of a village that had been waiting for the rider all its long history. The rider was the answer to something the village had been asking for 1,000 years. The cheering was, in the dream, the most important sound the village had ever made. The young man in the dream was not on the road. He was on the slope above the pass, on a ledge of rock, watching. He was not part of the cheering crowd. He was alone. He felt in the dream a kind of grief that had no source he could identify. The dream was beautiful and the dream was wrong. He dreamed it every night for a season. He woke each morning weeping and did not know why. He told his wife, who was kind, that he had been having strange dreams. His wife asked what they were. He could not for some weeks describe them. The dreams were too clear in his sleep and too soft in his waking. They slipped out of his mouth when he tried to name them. By the late summer he had begun, in some part of himself he had not, before that summer, known about, to understand the dream. He climbed the pass with a bow and 3 arrows. He had been a hunter in his youth. He had not hunted in some years. He had become, after his marriage, a farmer. But the bow was still in the rafters of his house, and the arrows were still in the leather quiver his father had made for him. He took them down. He told his wife he was going to the pass for the day. She did not in that moment ask him why. She had in the previous weeks become quieter around him. She had noticed, without quite naming it, that he was preparing to do a thing. He climbed for most of the morning. He came by mid-afternoon to the place in the dream. It was a wide, flat shoulder of rock just below the top of the pass. The road crossed it. The road was empty. He had not on the way up seen any traveler. He had not expected to. He found a small stand of pines just above the road on the slope, exactly where he had stood in the dream. He sat behind a rock. He knocked one of the arrows. He waited. He waited for hours. The light moved. The shadows of the pines moved. The wind picked up, then died. The rider came at sunset. He came up from the far side of the pass in the gold light. He was, in waking life, exactly as he had been in the dream. The chariot was of bones. The horses were white. Their breath was steam in the cold evening air. The villagers were not in waking life on the road. They were in the village below, going about their evening work, but the young man could hear them. He could hear them cheering. The cheer rose from the valley like a single long note. He understood, listening to it, whose cheer it was. It was his own. It was the cheer he had been cheering all his life. The cheer the village had taught him to cheer at his coming of age. The cheer the village had taught its young men to cheer at every gathering, every parade, every harvest, every wedding, every funeral. The cheer that had made the rider gold. The cheer that had built the chariot. The cheer that had bred the horses out of the small white breath of the boys who had not yet known they were cheering for their own deaths. He understood in that moment that the cheer would not stop unless the rider fell. The cheer was for the rider. The cheer was also the rider. The cheer had created him. The cheer would, if not interrupted, ride him forever across this pass, every evening in his dream and in the dreams of every other young man in the village. He drew the first arrow. He held it for a long time. His hand was steady. The rider was perhaps 50 paces below him on the road. The rider's gold face was, in the failing light, very beautiful. The chariot's bones in the gold light were briefly the color of the chariot itself. He shot. The arrow flew straight. It struck the rider in the chest, between the bones of the chariot, in the place where on a man the heart would be. The rider fell. The chariot crashed. The bones of the chariot scattered down the slope. The white horses, freed of the chariot, did not stay. They ran into the mist that was beginning, in the cold of the evening, to roll up from the valley. The young man could hear them for some minutes, their hooves striking stone, fainter and fainter, until they were gone. He came down from the ledge. He walked to the rider on the road. The rider was on his back with the arrow in his chest. The gold on the body in the last light did not look like gold anymore. It looked like skin. Beneath the skin, the body was the body of a young man of perhaps 25, with brown hair. With a mouth that had been in life ordinary, with hands that had calluses from work the gold figure had not done. The body was his own. He had not until that moment fully understood. He had known in the dream that the rider was somehow connected to him. He had not known that the rider was him. He had not known that he had been climbing the pass with his bow and his 3 arrows to kill himself. He sat down on the road beside the body. The body did not exactly look dead. It looked more asleep. The arrow had not produced much blood, the wound was clean in the middle of the chest, and the skin around it was already pale. The young man took the arrow out after some time. He held it. The arrowhead was wet but not in any dramatic way bloody. He put the arrow down on the road. A torrential rain began. It came up suddenly from the valley in great curtains. He was wet within a minute. He did not move. He sat on the road beside the body for a long time. The rain washed the body clean. It washed the road clean. It washed, over the next hour, the bones of the chariot that had scattered down the slope below the pass. He could see them gleaming, white and clean in the dimness. It rained for 3 days. He did not in those 3 days come down. He sat on a stone beside the road, beside the body, and he did not move. The body in the rain did not decay. The rain washed it but did not somehow destroy it. The body remained the body of a young man of 25, asleep on the road in the mountain. On the 3rd day, the rain stopped. The young man stood up. He understood, at last, what he had killed. The rider had been him. The cheer had been him. The chariot of bones had been the bones of every part of him he had refused to be in order to be the rider. The part that wept, the part that doubted, the part that wanted to lie down in the field and watch clouds, the part that loved his wife in a way he had not let himself love her, the part that was not interested in being a hero of the village, the part that wanted, in fact, to spend his life as an ordinary man and to die forgotten and content. He had been carrying these parts as the bones of his own chariot. He had been crossing this pass in his dream every night for 30 years, pulling, with his small white breath, the chariot of the parts of himself he had refused. The village had been cheering. He had been cheering with them. Now the rider was dead. He was alive. He was wetter than he had ever been. Rain was the mourning of the dead in him, which precedes burial and rebirth. He buried the body in a small grave on the side of the pass. He used his hands. He had no tools. The earth after 3 days of rain was soft. He scraped out a shallow grave big enough for a man. He laid the body in it. He covered it with earth. He put a small stone on the grave. He did not on the stone write anything. He went home. His wife was waiting. She had not slept much in the 3 days. She did not ask what had happened. He told her anyway in pieces over the next several weeks. She listened. She did not, at any point, suggest that what he had done was strange. She was the kind of wife who, in her own life, had taken the village's cheer less seriously than her husband had, and she had been, in some sense, waiting for him to come back from the pass with his bow. He did not dream the rider's dream again. He dreamed instead in the years that followed more ordinary dreams. He dreamed of his fields. He dreamed of his wife. He dreamed occasionally of small white horses running through mist, but they were free in the dreams and they did not pull anything. He took them in the dreams to mean that the work of the pass had held. He lived another 40 years. He was a farmer. He was a quiet man. He was not, by the village's standards, anyone in particular. The village cheered, in his lifetime, for other young men who climbed other passes and dreamed other dreams. Some came back. Some did not. When he died at 68 in his bed with his wife beside him, his last words to her were, "The bones are clean." She nodded. She had not been on the pass with him, but she had understood in some sense what he had been carrying. The small grave on the side of the pass is, in some province, still there. The stone has no writing on it. The body in the ground has not decayed. The body is, in some sense, still asleep, waiting for the next young man of the village who climbs the pass with a bow and who recognizes, in the figure on the road, his own face. The rider in your dream is you. The cheering is yours. The chariot is built of the bones of what you would not be. The work is to climb the pass with the bow. The arrow strikes, the rider falls, the body on. The road is your own. The rain is what comes after. The rain is not punishment. The rain is what was inside you, finally allowed to fall. The body in the ground is asleep. It waits for the next young man of the village. You are no longer a hero. You are alive.